Welcome to episode number 1 of the Stay Fresh Cheese Bags podcast. I am your host, Mark Stewart. Thank you so much for joining me. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about my background a little bit and just providing some contextual information for, the rest of this project that I'm starting. I'm super happy to be here, so thank you. I appreciate that. So first, I'll talk about my time. I'm a retired military veteran. I did 20 years in the military, 5 in the Marines doing intel. I was in Iraq for a year. I went to get out of the Marines. I was tired of the war in 2007, and I considered joining the fire department, at which time I realized it was pretty hard to get hired on the fire department in those days because it's just such a competitive hiring process. And I wasn't the only veteran, even though I got veterans points, I wasn't the only veteran that had that idea. There was a lot of us so I ended up joining the Coast Guard and moving to Newport, Oregon so that I could ride my mountain bike and my snowboard more. And once I got into the Coast Guard, I became a mechanic, and then I kind of had a little bit of buyer's remorse with that and ended up back in the tactical side of the Coast Guard on the Coast Guard's counterterrorism team located in Chesapeake, Virginia. Excuse me. So that's what my background is. Born and raised in Georgia. Parents moved away when I was in the military, so I don't really have any ties to that area anymore. And I live in Virginia now, and this is my home base for the time being. And I have 2 kids who are just the coolest motherfuckers ever in the history of the universe. I freaking love those kids so much, and they do all my action sports with me and stuff like that, so that's very cool. So I'm 43. What's going on right now, and kind of like the theme of this podcast moving forwards in a certain sense, is going to be pretty wellness focused, because I haven't been that well. If anybody has been keeping up with me or whatever, I just had my ACL reconstructed and some meniscus repair with like a patella graft. So I'm laid up for a while, not able to participate in my normal sports and activities because of my knee being damaged. So, and it turned out that that happened in March when I was riding my snowboard, and I thought that it was a sprain. So I took a week off and let the swelling go down, and then I kept riding the rest of the season. And I was skateboarding until like 3 weeks ago when my MRI results came back, and they're like, hey, you got your ACL's totally just wrecked and you have a bucket horn tear on your meniscus. So there we are. And I want to also just talk about with the wellness space. I mean, if anybody's been keeping up with my Instagram account, which I kind of don't think anybody who's going to see this on my YouTube channel, like, you might not be connected to me on Instagram, because my Instagram's kind of like people that I know, like personally, like physically meet them before, and then they like know me through Instagram. So but I was doing a lot of cold plunges for a period of time. Like last year at this time, I started doing almost daily cold plunges, and I quit when the wintertime came around and kind of fell off. And the reason why I quit is because I found out that I have sciatica also, which is most likely a holdover from a back injury when I was in the Marines. So needless to say, I push my body very hard, and I have a pretty, like, I'm athletic and I'm determined, and I need to basically stand everything down and recharge, renourish, recover, recalibrate my body for this next chapter of absolute fucking stokage that I'm going to have in my 40s. So that's really what this podcast is about. This podcast is about how to live your best life as far as just tips and tricks, because like I don't know everything, so just take some of the things that I can provide may be of a great value to you. A lot of things, like, you may already know them or they might not apply to you. So I'm doing the best that I can to create the best life for myself that I can moving forward in the future, and I think everybody else should be doing that too. And if you are doing that too, what that's going to look like for each individual is going to be different no matter what. So that's kind of where we're going with this. probably wondering, what the hell is a Stay Fresh cheese bag, and why is the podcast named Stay Fresh cheese bags? Excuse me. Well, that's a really good question. It was kind of an inside joke at first. My wife and I were just kind of joking because we'd seen a meme about Stay Fresh cheese bags, and it was funny. And I started thinking, I'm like, man, I'm going to name my podcast that, because like, I'm a cheese bag, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to stay fresh, and so are the homies. Like, we are the ones that are trapped in these meat sacks, hurling through the galaxy, trying to live the best life that we possibly can. And what I'm going to do in this podcast is really do some deep dive and exploration about specific things that can really, just enhance the quality of your everyday life, your experience with people, and your ability to connect with other people. Because, like, success is not defined universally either, which I think anybody who's probably watching this already knows that. And so you have to kind of define what success is for yourself. It's not going to be the same as what success is for me, but my success is centered around one thing, and that is human connection. I want to have human connection and like meaningful relationships with others and meaningful experiences. And I'll extend like a little bit after that. The second most important thing, I think, is connection with nature, because people call nature Mother Nature, and there's a reason for that, obviously, because we all come from nature, and we all should be acting within our nature as much as we can to uplift each other and to live in harmony with our environment. So, kind of an oddball, I know. I'm a full-blown hippie, and I'm a full-blown vet with... I've never found it difficult to use aggression or violence to solve a problem. And honestly, my departure from the more combative combat sports and different things like that, and just the martial lifestyle, I guess is what you could say, that we have in the military, and that like warrior class of individuals, so to speak. I just didn't think that it was very healthy for me mentally, and part of the reason that I kind of changed things up and I will self-identify as a hippie is because my mind feels better then, and I'm happier, I'm healthier. My capacity for love and empathy and for making a difference, also controlling my emotions, is greater when I use a more reserved modality and a more systematic, calm, loving, peace and love vibe, I mean, it's I choose that for myself. So that's where I'm coming from. And I hope to see everybody out there on a future episode. I don't know if anybody, like I said, will even watch this, but I appreciate you checking it out if you do. If this sounds interesting to you, throw me a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the flip side. Thank you.